Hello everybody, I'm Justin.
And I'm Danelle.
And you're watching the Weekly Web. So, in today's video, we're going to be talking about classic movies with Danelle, the expert on old movies.
The queen.
Yes. The first thing we're going to talk about is the top three
Top 3
old movies. And we're
Really
talking
the best.
not Avengers #1 from 2012. We're talking about before dinosaurs were born.
Yeah,
Yeah,
pretty much.
the old ones.
Yeah.
So, what is your top 3?
My top 3 would be, #1 would be Shenandoah.
Uh-huh.
Because, why you may ask, is because it's so good. So Shenandoah is about the Civil War, and it's about this old man. No, he's not old, but this man has family, and he has sons and daughters. And his son's like marrying, has wives. So they're in the country, and the Civil War is breaking out, and the boys are kind of like, I kind of want to go join the Civil War. And the dad's like, no, do not join the Civil War. Do not sign up for the war. Do not have anything to take part in the war. And so the son is like, oh, darn, we can't join the war. So then what happens, quick summary, is the son gets kidnapped, and because he's mistaken for a Confederate soldier. So the Yankees take him, and they have him in prison, and the whole family has to pretty much go out looking for the son to see if they can free him from the soldiers' camp. And this is the best movie because it's emotional, it's funny, it's friendly. It's emotional, it's funny, it's very like family, you know what I mean, like family involved. It has like a lot of family, but family values. It teaches you about like the importance of family, and it's kind of reminded me of like the lost sheep, like when like the guy lost his sheep. I don't know the Bible. I don't know, but when the random guy lost his sheep, and then he like left the whole flock to go looking for that one sheep. Reminded me of that. Anywho, that's #1. #2 would be How the West Was Won. This is another like sort of Civil War. It goes through 5 events. I can't remember all the events. It goes through the Gold Rush, 1840s, I think that was. Gold Rush, Civil War. It goes through 5 events. And it starts from this family just traveling by steamboat to the west. And this is really good because it shows the hardships again of like how the family is broken up. But then it's just cool how it follows this one family. And then this daughter has sons, and then it follows the son. And then the sister, it follows the sister for a bit. And then how all of this whole family comes into one, and how like through different years how the family does things. I don't know how the family grows, how it grows throughout all these times of hardship. Gaslight was creepy but good. Gaslight was about this lady whose aunt was brutally murdered in this house.
Wow.
And she's like, so her aunt was brutally murdered, and everyone knows about this murder. Mm-hmm. And so she leaves the house. She's this professional pianist and singer. And this pianist guy, this is really well done, but this pianist guy, she falls for her pianist guy. And they get married, and they come back to live in the house her aunt was brutally murdered in. This is fun, right? It gets better. It gets better. So then they get married, and then all of a sudden she's starting to forget things, like randomly, just forget things.
That's spooky.
Yeah, and it's because, well, I won't say why, but so she's just starting to forget things, and she thinks she's going insane, and her husband's like, honey, you're going insane. Maybe we should send you away to seek help, mental help. Turns out the husband was her aunt that got brutally murdered. The husband actually brutally murdered the aunt. I don't know how he found her, and wanted her jewels. So he convinced the lady that was the pianist and singer to go back to the house that the aunt was brutally murdered in, to look for her jewels, and he would make things disappear on purpose to make her think that she's crazy and be like, oh no, and pretty much insane. And that was super good how they worked it. But there was this inspector guy that was really nice to her and was like, you can come, and he like helped solve the murder, and he's like, your husband's basically the one that brutally murdered your aunt. So that was
Wow.
That was the Gaslight in a nutshell.
That reminds me of a podcast I was listening to where this woman was like poisoning her family.
No,
Yeah, and it was like back in the olden days when all these movies were probably happening.
Yeah, I can see why.
Nowadays we have actors like Britney Spears. No, she's not an actor. Let's see.
She actually did a movie. I was watching this Britney Spears documentary, and she actually did this like fun movie. But anyway.
Okay.
But so like I can like be just like nowadays guys, and yeah. So like nowadays, yeah, we have actors.
So, but actors in the olden days, we had actors that were old, I guess. Okay.
Some people like to say actors that had real talent. Like a lot of actors, they don't think, like a lot of people say, like real actors today, they can't act. And like old actors, as just been quoted before, had like more talent or whatever. I think that it's like there's great actors today that actually have talent, and then there's some actors that don't really have talent. And
Riverdale.
This is gonna be our top 3 best actors from
the olden days.
The olden days. So first up is Audrey Hepburn. She's the queen. She's a goddess. Number 1 thing I like about her is that she really gave back to charity. Like even after all of her awesomeness and famous, she really was involved in Charity Act, and she did she started a lot of organizations that helped like children from different countries that were homeless. Number 2, Jimmy Stewart. Jimmy Stewart is the best actor. Probably because his range is so many different things. Like he can be, when he's serious, he can be really good at being serious. He can be really good at being funny, and he can be like really good at being casual. When I watch him, some of his movies look like it's not even acting. Like you just feel like it just comes naturally to him. And I like that when you see like actors that aren't really acting, like, but like they're acting, but you don't see like they're trying to act. Like it just kind of comes natural to them, and you're like, oh, that's really nice. Like that's why I love Jimmy Stewart. When he doesn't look a good scene, like you really believe him, and you're like, wow, I really believe you. Like you really think, it's really acting. Anywho, number 3 would be Barbara Stanwyck. She is the queen because she's a lot like Jimmy Stewart too when she acts. Actually, no, she's not.
Sorry, Barbara.
Yeah, there's like a couple scenes when you're like, okay, you're acting, and you're like, okay, maybe it's not that big of a deal. Like, tone it down a little bit. There are some scenes where, like, with Barbara, I'm like, okay, Barbara, she's overacting a little bit, but Barbara is still really good. Like, Barbara, she does a lot of range of acting from serious to funny, and actually, I don't think I ever saw a comedy of her. I'm just spewing lies. So, Barbara Stanwyck, yes. I don't know what to say about Barbara Stanwyck.
She sounds really lame.
She does. Now I may think about it. No, she's really great. A lot of her why do I keep clapping like this? I don't know. A lot of her costumes. I like a lot of her costumes too. Like for all of her movies, there's probably not one costume that's bad, but that's probably because of the costume designer. I'm sorry. Okay, probably to move on.
We have talked about all the good things about how great old movies are, but just like nowadays, there were some pretty bad movies in the olden days.
Yes.
So, Danelle, what are your top 3 worst old movies?
My top 3 worst old movies would be number 1, Dear Bridget. And this has Jimmy Stewart in it. And I know before I was praising his glory, but then there's sometimes when Jimmy Stewart's awesomeness doesn't quite work in a film, and this is one of them. Dear Bridget is about this father who lives in like, I don't even know what he lives in. He lives in like this trailer park / boat. It's like a trailer park that floats on the water. And this musical family, and there's just instruments, and it's kind of chaotic. And that's why there was no plot. The plot was non-existent. Because it looked like it was heading a certain way, and then in the middle of the movie, it turned. And you're like, what? I just got lost. And then at the end, like, the family was together again. So before, it was about this dad and his work, and the bosses. It's a really quirky movie. Like, you could tell it's like a kid's movie. But before, it's like this dad and his boss. And he's like, how am I going to get to work? And about his work. Then all of a sudden in the movie, it turns about the son liking this girl writing to her from, like, you never see the girl that he writes to. It's from, I don't know, she was in this other country. And it turns into the movie about him liking this girl that doesn't even live in the same country as him. That's pretty much the whole movie. In a nutshell, it's pretty bad. I'm sorry, Jimmy Stewart. Second movie would be Touch of Evil. This was pretty bad. It was just so slow. And I like slow movies. Sometimes I can understand some slow movies. Great, and they have great plots, and at the end it comes together. But this movie was so slow, it didn't make any sense. It was about this couple, I don't even remember what it was about. No, it was about this couple getting married. The husband was a drug dealer, I think, and he was like wanted, I don't know, but he was like wanted by the FBI, and then his wife thought he killed a man, and then he's like telling his wife to stay at this motel alone with this creepy like innkeeper. and I think the innkeeper might have actually broke into her hotel and like murdered her. I don't know. It's really bad movie. The last one is The Killers. This one's slow as well. This one, I don't even remember what it was about. It was just about like this diner. This guy got out of jail. Classic, kind of cliche. Got out of a jail, coming back to his hometown, and kills again. And you'd think, after you got out of jail, but he kills again. It's about this love interest that nobody really cares about in the movie.
So yeah, we've gone over the top 3 movies, actors, and bad movies. We highly recommend that you check out Shenandoah, How the West War Will...
Okay, so we highly recommend that you watch Shenandoah, How the West Was Won, and Gaslight. Shenandoah has Jimmy Stewart, Gaslight has Ingrid Bergman, and How the West Was Won has Jimmy Stewart as well. How the West Was Won also is like a well-known cast. Like as Jimmy Stewart, Gregory Peck, Debbie Reynolds, John Wayne as well. So a lot more. It's a all-star cast in How the West Was Won. And yeah, you should check them out. The movies you should not check out, let's just list them again, is Touch of Evil, starring Charlton Heston, Dear Bridget, starring Jimmy Stewart, and The Killers. I don't actually know who's in The Killers, but just don't watch it if you see a film that says The Killers.
Yeah.
Steer clear.
And now, to just give you a little sample of what old movies are like, here is this wonderful scene.
Alright, I'm gonna play the tape. Spill the beans.
What beans?
I think you're getting a phone call.
Ah!
I've had enough of being chipped off.
I thought you liked it.
You look dumber than you look, Fitz.
Have you looked in the mirror recently?
Tell me what's on that tape.
Why should I tell you?
You should really do something about that broken nose of yours.
What broken nose? Ah! So thank you for watching, everybody. Danelle actually has a Instagram account called Classic Movies, and that's with K at the end of classic and Z at the end of movies. Mm-hmm. Follow her on Instagram.
Yes,
she'll be linked down in the description below.
Yes.
So she posts facts and birthdays, different things about the best old movies around, the best actors around, actresses.
Pretty much what Justin said, yeah. It's really fun. I'm having so much fun. I'm so glad. I was debating like whether or not to start it, and once I started it, it was the best decision I ever made because everyone that likes my videos is super nice. I post every day. You might not learn something new. That's the fun thing about this cat. I learn something new every day, and you might too if you follow. So follow me.
Yeah, follow Danelle at Classic Movies and her personal account, I guess.
Oh, yes.
Danceorama. All of her pages will be linked down below.
Thank you guys so much for watching The Weekly Web. Wait, who was that?
Wait.
That's a
I thought you liked it. Hello, everybody. That was not good.
Hey, everybody. Okay.
Okay. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled
Pepper,
peppers,
pepper.
and you're watching the week. No.
What? No, wait.
I stepped out on you.